like Lynn said, my name is Mark Heider. I am the Vice President of Market Technology and Strategy here at VoltDB. Today I want to spend some time with you kind of discussing how we believe VoltDB can bring your typical Hadoop data pipeline to life. Once that happens, I think we're going to see a great deal of adoption within the enterprise. We're going to just go through the agenda real quick. Want to spend some time kind of giving you our perspective of what big data looks like, what we believe the data landscape is today and where it's going. Then we're going to spend some time talking about your typical data pipelines, and then if you were to bring in Volt, how we can add value to that, basically by getting you some access to your data a lot quicker. Advantages of streaming. And then, like we said earlier, we would talk about the topics. We know that Hadoop is complex and it's expensive, and that we believe that that's a barrier to adoption across the enterprise. We know that if you are a Hadoop shop, you probably want to get access to that data a little quicker than you can today. There's also this notion that Hadoop it's very scary. It's capital expense, it's operational expense. What can I do to maybe mitigate the risks of the implementation as well as the risk of kind of having the wrong data? And then, it's going to go to, we want to talk about just basically how can I get access to my data faster using Volt. And then using Volt, what can I do to basically enrich my data and make sure I have good data quality and reduce end-to-end time as my data comes in the machine. I actually get make use of it both in real time as well as scientifically and strategic later down the road. All right, so on this next slide, kind of set the groundwork around what is big data. Right? And we've seen big data over time. It used to be just straight out a lot of volume as well as the operational value of it, right? The analytic processing. And that used to be just essentially the notion of big data. And I think back in the early 90s, it was more about kind of just dealing with real, the traditional shops, and not a lot was online. But then, that has changed, and as that's changed, you see the big data terminology has changed from volume and transactions to velocity, volume, and transactions, both operational transactions as well as the information or the OLAP type transactions that are happening. And with the adoption of the net, and as more and more folks come online using mobile, our clocks get faster, and we really want to get access to what we want. We want our data to be timely and relevant. We're not willing to wait much anymore. So kind of summarize it, kind of a street term is big data is fast and deep. And depth varies, and we're going to talk about that in a few slides about why the depth of data varies. And then what do you want to do with it as it arrives? So, right, we now know that I've got my data, I've given data, or I've received data. I need to do something with this. And in fact, there might be times where on the infrastructure side, you may want to just slow it down. So like kind of cache it a bit so that you don't have to deal with the tsunami that happens throughout the business day when data comes in. You can actually kind of create an even stream into your Hadoop infrastructure, which will then allow you to manage cost as well as service levels. So, what we believe Volt brings in the big data space is straight out velocity. Right? So if you put Volt, you're going to basically have the VoltDB plus the volume that you get with the other traditional solutions, as well as the ability to deal with variety.